Oliver and I constantly speak about using your platform as a tool for change, and one person that is certainly doing that is T.Y. Bello. A lot has been happening in Nigeria, and of course we are bringing her in here to, first of all, of course, catch up on her work, but most importantly, ask her the exact same question that we asked Nii and Yemi, which is, which way Nigeria? Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So I thought that was an absolutely brilliant piece of work. The art was beautiful, the photographs were beautiful, the music was very emotional as well. So maybe we should just go back to the very beginning. How did you get to take those pictures, and what was the story? What motivated you to do those pictures?
It was spontaneous. I woke up one day and I realized there was so much going on, and I'm a photographer. I need to see for myself, and I was kind of waiting for someone to ask me to go make the images, and nobody was asking me to. So I just got up and I called everyone I knew, and I went to Maiduguri, and I took a trip with some soldiers to Dikwa, and I spent some time talking to people and seeing for myself. And what happened to me was I found out that I kind of went back to the interviews and tried to rewind, you know, my own personal timeline. I realized that I was doing life as normal. People were being slaughtered, and it was like it wasn't even happening at all, you know. And so that's been the story. There's a lot going on, but we have our hustle, we have bills to pay, and we move on like nothing's happened or nothing is happening, you know. So it's my wake-up call as well.
Definitely, and this is definitely a song that touched a lot of us. I know even just hearing it again now, I got goosebumps because we are seeing a reality, and thankfully we have people like you that are putting that reality at the forefront. Why are you passionate about our society? What would you say has made you so passionate about humanity in Nigeria and the value for life?
It's been a long journey. I guess I think maybe my faith and then my work. When you photograph a human being for real, you make a true connection and you feel a sense of responsibility. I remember when I went to make these images, I was really heavy because I was thinking, I hope that these are not just images that will objectify people. I hope these images actually do something, or at least inspire someone somewhere to do something or do more. Do you understand? For these people? Because when you photograph people that are in dire need of help, they kind of really believe that that image you're making of them is what's going to solve everything. So they give it everything because they think, oh, maybe if I take this picture, then people will remember me. Or maybe if I take this picture, I'll get to go back to my house, you know. So I think it's going out there and making real connections. I think that's what happens. We all, you know, I'm guilty of this. You turn up the window on your air conditioning, and then you're not even looking at the face of the person selling to you in traffic. You don't notice them. And I think the more we start to see people and the more we start to notice and talk to people and smile back and ask questions and give, then the more we'll get involved.
All right, now help us to see what exactly the situation was like when you traveled to film this. How bad is it really? And if you can recount maybe one or two stories.
You know, there are a lot of people doing good and helping to make things better. But you have to realize that these, for years, regular people, just regular everyday, I can tell you stories. I mean, I met a man, one of the men in the profile picture, and I had asked him, I'd taken a picture of him and his family, and he was exactly the same age as me. And I asked him what I could do. And he said, do I have 200 naira? And I'm like, what do you need 200 naira for? He said, because he needs to buy soap. That his children have their bath in the morning and in the evening. And they haven't had their bath in days. And he feels like a failure as a father if he can't insist they have their bath because he doesn't have soap. I mean, so it's like people are being stripped to like their barest, where they feel like they can't really do anything. Now, I've seen a lot of NGOs and even the government doing a lot of stuff, but I think it's not just that. We as individuals can actually get involved in our own ways. And even if we can't, you know, we feel like we don't have the resources or the know-how to affect situations far away. I mean, on your street, in your community, just look a little longer at people and ask questions. Are you okay? What do you really need? You know, somebody hasn't, you know, there are people who are not eating properly. There are people who can't pay their children's school fees, who you can really help with without buying that extra, you know, meal, you know, in a restaurant. You can feed a family for a whole week, you know. So just looking. I think for me, being a photographer, I've learned to see, you know, and seeing more makes me more connected. And I think you don't need to be a photographer. You just need to look a little longer, usually just a few more seconds at another human being, and you see a lot more.
Now, as a photographer, you document, you tell stories, you touch on people's lives, and you give us the art that we need, you know, to continue to go forth and understand other people. What would you say during your career you have found to be the greatest problem or the greatest ill that we have in Nigerian society today?
I think the biggest problem is disconnect. And I think the disconnect is for different reasons. You know, some people just feel like, I beg, let me sort my family out, you know, let me progress in the future. So we think that we can create little castles of happiness in chaos. And as long as we have high enough walls, then we're good. And we can continue to live like that. Others who don't think that way feel like they can't really do anything. It's a big problem. It's a problem for the government, or a problem for the socially conscious individuals, or, you know, the activists. It's not my problem. I just need to pay my children's school fees. You know, I'll help my neighbor or my family. So it's just the disconnect. And that's what I've done in my work. I find that when you show people the truth as is, they turn away. Yeah. So I go into real hard situations and I try to make beautiful images that still carry truth, so that you're drawn in by the beauty. And before you can turn away, the truth has already hit you. You know, because I find that I mean, on this trip, I remember I took a trip to Dikwa. On the first day that road was open, and I remember seeing a few dead bodies on the road, and just randomly, or you'd see a wheelbarrow, you know, turned over, or you see a car on a wall with a bullet hole on the side, and you know that it was probably some guy trying to escape with his family, and he was just shot at. And you know, there are ways to make those images that will show you the extent of the damage. But I find that people just tend to be like, they turn away. So I'm always looking for ways to make people look. And one of those ways is through beauty. When someone sees something that looks beautiful on the surface, then they are drawn in. And then you can show them the truth. They see it in the eyes.
Like, I think those photos were really beautiful, but I must imagine what the raw files looked like before you started to work on them, and all the pain and the bitterness that you had to witness. How are you able to deal with your emotions, to detach yourself? You know, how did it affect you?
It really did affect me. I came back from that trip, and for almost a week, for starters, I could not sleep, because I would read the stories that, you know, had been translated for me on each person, and I'll name the person, and then I'll go on Google and try to research the atrocities they've been through, and I would see it. I would see the truth that happened, and then I would say, this is what happened in Gomboru, Gala, and in Bama, and in, you know, in different places, and you're connecting these faces to those stories, and you're thinking, that 2-year-old girl has seen too much. There's no way. Who is she now? How has this affected that 9-year-old, that 8-year-old watching, you know, someone bringing a gun and blowing up the brains of their parents in front of them? I mean, a lot of children saw. They saw it happen. It wasn't like they weren't in bed and they saw destruction. They saw murders happen. They had their families killed. And for me, it was hard, because I would look at my own children and I would start to see the face of another child. So I had to disconnect from the work for a while. And I think I disconnected for a little too long, because I felt it was a bit too much. But then I was able to now find my way back into the work. I think it was a song that helped me, you know, find my way back. And then, okay, how do I tell this story?
How did you get the song?
It came spontaneously. So I have these sessions where every Thursday I do spontaneous worship, and there are no songs, and with musicians, and we just go, and whatever comes out. But I remember that Thursday was the day that the petrol tanker fell in Lagos and killed so many people from the explosion. And I saw those footages 2 minutes before going in front of the mic. And for 30 minutes, I was just lost musically. And then I opened my mouth and this came out. And as soon as I sang that, I knew this was exactly what, not only what I was feeling, but a lot of people were feeling. I mean, as soon as the tankers, I saw the images, I just thought, where's my husband? Where are the children? Where's my mom? Okay, they're at home. And then I thought, why are you feeling relieved? There are people who are not going to see their family again. And then why do you suddenly feel a sense of mourning because it happened in Lagos? What about what happened last week in Jos? What about what happened in Benue? Did you feel that way? Why are you so disconnected from other things? Is it because of geographical distance? As in, what's wrong with you? And I think that was the weight that I was carrying, that, you know, I mean, you see these horrible things, and then you read about the Kardashians. And I think it's social media also, because we scroll, you know. We scroll. You read something really, really horrible, and then somebody is advertising cake right afterwards. And, you know, mentally, you don't know how to connect, really.
Now, a lot of citizens in the country are clearly vulnerable, and the vulnerability cuts across several systems of oppression in the country. But one citizen in particular, or one group of citizens that is constantly oppressed in society in Nigeria today, is the girl child.
Yeah.
Now, I understand that you've spent time in IDP camps. You've spoken to a lot of these young women as well. Please, can you give us some information on exactly what our young girls are experiencing today because of the insecurity in Nigeria?
I think the biggest thing that we can give the girl child, and indeed any human being, is education. Really and truly. I mean, there's a lot of programs and things that are going on with a lot of NGOs and the government, you know, to, you know, help push for that. But I still think it can never be enough until we as a nation are conscious and we're thinking, okay, my children's school fees, you know, every month, if I'm paying 150,000 a term, or 1 point something million a term, that can send like many children to school. How about I add one more child to my children and do it consistently? I think what happens is a lot of times people want to help, they get involved, but it's short term because they do good, and they do it at Christmas. I think over the years, my message has always been just add one child and 2 and 3 and add it to like what you do for your children, and you'll be shocked that you can just by helping people who are already doing good. So you can find, you know, people who have taken on children from insurgency to an orphanage and adopt that orphanage.
At the end of the day, our acts of kindness should not just be a short sprint, but it should be more of a long marathon.
It's usually even a problem.
Yeah.
It's just short bursts of help, create hope, and then it's gone.
Shattered.
It's gone.
But thank you so much for joining us. I really, really, really wish we could speak some more, but we've run out of time. But before, I have one very, very quick question, the Which Way Nigeria question. Our final thoughts very quickly. Which way Nigeria?
Wake up, see more, feel more, and start making change where you are. Just start from where you are.
I think that's very solid advice for us to end with. Wake up, see more, and feel more.
To enjoy more of these our Ogbonge videos when you just watch, press this button to subscribe on top of our YouTube page. You go love am.